Malacañang has stepped in to clarify widespread confusion regarding a new tax on bank savings. The palace today debunked misleading online claims that a 20% tax will be imposed on the total amount in bank accounts, assuring the public that the tax applies only to the interest earned, not the principal. Panic spread among Filipinos on social media following misleading posts about the Capital Markets Efficiency Promotion Act, CMEPA, which took effect on July 1, 2025. Many were led to believe that 20% of their entire bank savings would now be taxed, leading some to consider withdrawing their money. However, Malacañang and the Department of Finance, DOF, have branded these claims as fake news. Palace press officer Claire Castro explained that the tax has always been on the interest earned from savings, a system in place since 1998 under the Tax Reform Act of 1997. What will be taxed is not the savings themselves, but the interest earned from our savings. Our savings will never be reduced just because of this so-called taxation, PCO USEC Claire Castro said. Castro provided an example. For a 100,000 pesos savings with a 1% interest rate, which earns 83.33 pesos per month, only 16.66 pesos would be deducted from that interest. Department of Finance Secretary Ralph Recto echoed this, emphasizing that this is not a new tax. This became an issue because there was some deception in the memes circulating on social media. Many thought we would tax the entire deposit of our countrymen. There's no such thing, he said. The only significant change under CMEPA is the removal of preferential tax rates for interest earnings from long-term time deposits, specifically those locked in for over 5 years. Previously, these were exempt from the 20% interest income tax, a system that the DOF and tax experts like Benedicta Dubaladad argued favored the wealthy minority. Benedicta Dubaladad, a tax lawyer, said, "Those with lower income, they have barely enough money to put in the bank. Yet if they put their money in the bank in less than 5 years, they are taxed 20%. But those who can afford to keep their money for 5 years in the bank exempted, theirs had no tax." The DOF highlights that before CMEPA, over 99.6% of total deposits were already subject to the 20% tax rate, with only 0.4% enjoying preferential rates. This change, according to the Department of Finance, corrects an unfair system, creating a more level playing field. It's important to note that existing long-term time deposits opened before July 1, 2025, are not affected by this new rule. Beyond revenue, CMEPA aims to encourage Filipinos to invest in capital markets. The law removes documentary stamp taxes on collective investment schemes and significantly reduces the stock transaction tax rate. Philippine Stock Exchange President and CEO Ramon Monzon noted this would attract more foreign investors, as the Philippines had a comparatively high stock transaction tax. Mike Villarreal, a Bank Marketing Association of the Philippines director, also said, "If you buy 10,000 pesos worth of shares in the stock market, before you'd be charged 0.6% or 60 pesos. Now it's just 0.1% or 10 pesos, so that the money we worked hard for earns more." However, E-Bond Foundation Executive Director Sunny Africa raised a crucial point. Most Filipinos don't even have enough savings to invest. The BSP itself reported that 20.1 million, or 3 out of 4 Filipino families, didn't have any savings as of the end of 2024. This brute fact should put into context any hype that the new law empowers ordinary Filipinos. Sani Africa, an Ebon Foundation executive director, said. Africa believes the government should prioritize securing decent wages, pensions, and social protections instead of pushing individuals into volatile capital markets. Despite these concerns, both Recto and Monzon suggested that Filipinos are better off exploring the stock market than engaging in online gambling. The bigger challenge now really is a lot of small investor or retail investors or less privileged people. All their hard-earned money is being wasted on online gambling instead of being channeled to more productive investments, he quoted. From the banking industry's perspective, analysts like Richie Teo of Sun Life Investment Management and Trust Corporation believe the changes will push banks to become more competitive, potentially offering higher interest rates to incentivize long-term deposits. With that tax impact, the issuers will also probably have to rethink. What premium will you give to investors so that they will still be incentivized to invest on 5-year or long-term deposits? Richie Teo said. While President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. projects CMEPA will generate over 25 billion pesos in net revenue in 5 years, DOF Secretary Recto initially called it revenue neutral. However, tax lawyer Benedicta Dubaladad believes that with a more level playing field and increased investment volumes, it could ultimately lead to additional government revenues. A complex issue indeed, with varied impacts on different sectors. The message from Malacañang is clear. Understand the facts before panicking. We will continue to monitor the effects of CMEPA and bring you the latest developments. That's all for now. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.